Hey, 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 hey. Welcome everybody to Bad Film Good, the podcast where we look at poorly rated movies and we ask the question, is this bad film good? My name is Declan.
I'm Aidan, Dolan.
We'll get it smoothly eventually.
No.
And today we are looking at the film Twins from 1988, I think, from the 80s.
1988.
1988. And we will eventually get the A's in sync. I think it's funny. What I think we do, which is funny, it'll be different, I think, when we're in the same place, because, I mean, Aidan and I, we both record from our own separate places and then put them together. I think because of the delay, you guys all know because you'll hear it back and whatever, but we start and then we try and match it with what we hear the other person doing, so you get like a funny kind of disconnect. Maybe we'll just keep doing it. That'd be funny.
We'll never stop.
We'll never stop. Yeah, exactly. So, Aidan, as it is our fresh new segment that we settled on last week, tell me, what is Shrekking this week?
Well, as you know, we've been talking about this Scott Tobias guy, and yeah, it would have been really funny if there was more Scott Tobias news, but alas, there is not.
And he's gone quiet after his
he's gone all
after
quiet.
being defeated.
So I've got an article here that just says, Universal calls out major publication after trashing Shrek. I lied! It's back!
Oh,
There's more stuff
we've got more!
They responded. Universal have responded.
Universal themselves!
Yeah. Universal Orlando
amazing.
Resort have responded to the Guardian's article saying, Shrek at 20, an unfunny and overrated low for a blockbuster animation. If you've heard our other episodes, you know about this. Fucking Scott Tobias. Universal first responded to the tweet saying #fake news. And then later on, someone, I mean, they've got a verified tick. I have no idea who they are. Ryan Shattuck. Don't know.
All the Ryan Shattuck fans out there are screaming at us.
Yeah. Oh, well.
the first person who's ever going to listen to this will probably be
They're like, new podcast.
That one guy.
Ryan Shattuck is my favourite.
He's a god among men.
But yeah, he said, at Universal, any thoughts on the anti-Shrek article? Universal responded, they said, journalism is dead.
Brilliant.
This article isn't very long. It's basically saying how wrong Scott Tobias is and what Universal said. Yeah. That's all I've got for you. I just thought it was funny that Universal responded to Scott Tobias after all this.
That's amazing.
But that truly is now, that I promise you, that's it. That's truly the last we've heard of Scott Tobias, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Until next week when he claps back.
Yeah.
You know, when he doubles down and he makes another article saying...
Shrek 2
I stand by it. Shrek 2 sucks worse than the first one. Oh, I tell you, that's
deep cut.
Yeah, that's a rough stance to take, I think.
Good.
So this week we talked about, we've already done it before we're talking about it right now. This week we watched Twins. It is the 1988 film that unfortunately I had to rent off of Amazon Prime because we thought it was on there. Turns out it wasn't. And you can't get a free subscription trial for bloody Sky Cinema, as far as we could tell. So
I was very lucky, but you had to pay for it.
Yeah, but I had a bloody the blood, sweat, and tears I'm putting into this, into setting up this podcast. So I mean, well, Prime describes the film as superstars Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito team up for twice the laughs in this hilarious box office blockbuster from director Ivan Reitman, in brackets Ghostbusters, just to lure those Ghostbusters fans in. An ambitious genetic experiment takes the wrong turn when two twins, who look nothing alike, just in case you thought Arnie and Danny
they look pretty similar,
are born and then separated. And that's pretty much, that's what they give. Which is the very, very, very base premise. Doesn't really give much of a kind of idea of just like, they're twins. Like, we got it from there.
Thanks,
from
Amazon.
the title. Thank you, Amazon. Yeah. But, fuck's sake. Oh, we need to get to the flow of this. Right, so I'm going to take a little sip of my water. Fucking hell. We'll leave that in. But Leave all of this in. Just leave the whole thing in. That'd be great. This is how it's like. Where these are the bits where we cut them out. This is what it sounds like.
This is behind the scenes.
The behind the scenes. We're just rambling so much, right? But Aidan, what is the actual film about? Do you want to talk to us about the film and what it is?
Basically, right? Arnie's mum has a gangbang with like 6 dudes, right? So
it's like the first note I've got about how she got railed by like 6 guys. Sorry, carry on.
And they do that because it's a scientist's experiment. So he can be a genetic specimen. But then it turns out he has a twin brother, who is Danny DeVito, of course. Who else? And then it's like 20 years later or 30 years later or whatever.
30, I think, yeah.
Arnie finds out he has a twin brother. So he goes to LA to look for him. Then, aside from that, we get introduced to Danny DeVito. He needs $20,000 to give to some people, but he gets arrested for a parking ticket or something like that. Arnie finds him in the police station.
It's like 20 million parking tickets.
Yeah.
Like 20 years worth.
Yeah. Arnie finds him at the police station. He's like, I'm your brother. And then
it begins.
Yeah,
the Arnie impressions begin. Yeah.
He bails him out. Then Arnie beats up some guy who wants to kill Mr. DeVito or something like that. Whatever.
DeVito has a lot of debt.
Yeah. In real life as well. No, I don't know.
Oh, poor guy. I'm sure he's a treasure.
National treasure.
You take that back.
So then they talk a bit. They find out some stuff. They find out that Mum's still alive, so Arnie wants to go find their 6 dads and their mum. And Danny DeVito wants to sell a nuclear bomb or something that he found in a stolen car. It's going to give him $5 million. So they all go to Mexico or something.
New Mexico. They don't go down to Mexico. They go all the way to Mexico.
Yeah, just for the lols. There's a scary bloke who chases them. They find some scientists, and it turns out they are twins. Then they go to a pub. Arnie beats up a few people who wanted the 20 grand, and then we don't hear from him.
20 grand is the debt,
Yeah. They're like, give us our money, and Arnie's like, no! And then beats them. No! They meet their mum, but then she's like, nah, I'm dead. Don't worry about it. But you don't know that yet.
This is like falling apart the more you go into the explanation.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. The story doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito, he tries to deliver the bomb or some shit, but then it all goes wrong. Some bloke's trying to kill him. Arnie saves him, and then they both have twins. Not together. There's
Not
4
together.
babies. Two each. Two twins. They have sex. And that's the film.
Oh, well, yeah, but more or less, yeah.
Yeah. Just a few stuff about the film in case you didn't know. So, like we said, 1998, directed by Ivan Reitman. Stars Danny DeVito and Arnie, Arnold Schwarzenegger. It doesn't matter anyone else in this film. They're not important. A budget of 15 million, but it made 216 million.
Whoa.
It fucking smashed it out the park. People love this film.
Slapped. Yeah. Why is it so trashed on?
Yeah,
people
I know,
loved
right?
it.
It's got 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb, which has actually gone up since last time I checked. It used to be 5.9. 43% on Rotten Tomatoes and 53 on Metacritic. There's 53 crickets that liked this film.
Yeah.
And just a quick thing as well. Fantastic. They're releasing a sequel to this called Triplets. It's Arnie, Danny DeVito, and the other triplet is Eddie Murphy. And I cannot wait.
Wait, you told me about this, didn't you?
Yeah.
Wait, so it's one that they are still going to be releasing? Like it didn't.
Yep.
Like it's due to come out.
Yep. It's still due to come out. There's no update on when it's going to be coming out or whatever, but
tomorrow.
Oh my god, could you imagine? They just drop it. They're like, by the way, we did this. Bye. Yeah. Ivan Reitman's back. Everyone's back, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
Amazing.
We should try and go see it together if we can.
Oh yeah, we definitely should. Oh, we'll do a good episode on that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That'd be great.
But anyway, look, if I had 15 million and expected you to make 216 million, what would you do? Pitch this film to me and give me some money.
Right, okay. Join scumbag Danny DeVito and sexually frustrated Arnold Schwarzenegger on an epic wholesome quest to locate 50 parents and 5 million smackaroos. That'd be my pitch.
Sold again. To be honest, I mean, I said it up top. The story doesn't matter about this. All that this is Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they just talk for a bit.
And they just kind of go back and forth.
Yeah.
I tell you what, like, everybody knows Danny DeVito is a goddamn national treasure. I mean, well, like an international, global treasure, right? This
King
guy
of the world.
is so great. And I've seen him in like a few things. Obviously, mainly like Always Sunny. That's where you see him nowadays and stuff. For sure. But seeing him like at this point, I don't think I'd seen him in stuff from this kind of era.
Oh, really?
And, like, seen him. I was just so impressed with his comedic timing, like all of his kind of physicality and stuff, and his kind of like his comedic physicality and everything. And he's so funny. Every scene he's in, everything he does is just hilarious.
You hadn't seen this before.
He's so good. I'd not seen this before.
That's funny because I was going to say for some reason, a lot of my childhood films involved Danny DeVito in some way, like Matilda.
You just got the DeVito collection.
Yeah.
The DeVito of course. I mean, there's probably a lot of films that I don't remember that well because I watched them when I was young. Like Matilda I've seen, but I don't remember much of it because it was years ago.
Yeah, but like Deck the Halls as well. I mean, we've talked about that privately.
Oh, we'll definitely watch that. Yeah.
But yeah, I love Danny DeVito. So seeing him in Always Sunny, I'm like, my baby. My man. He's back.
It's my man's.
Yeah. Oh, good.
But yeah, so I mean, as I think you mentioned up top in your lovely description of the film, we begin with their mom. She's not actually getting railed by 6 guys.
I don't know. I think she is.
But well, we don't see it. But you know, it starts off very like they all kind of seem kind of creepy. They're all like, "Oh, hello," you know. There's one woman because they're all like kind of standing around to take a photo because it's there's kind of they're trying to create like the prime human specimen or whatever, which of course is Danny DeVito.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Arnold. Danny. Both of them. Yeah. So that's the kind of idea, and then they say that they kind of have like a voiceover. Who's the so the voiceover is the guy who's actually telling all of this to Arnold, right? Arnold's character.
I guess
probably won't call them by their actual names. I'll just call them by their act, the actual person's name.
Danny.
Yeah, Arnie and Danny. I put him as DeVito a lot in here just because I like the fact that it's like capital D-E, then capital V.
Yeah.
I don't know, just DeVito.
Everything about that man is just perfect, is what you're saying. But yeah, I like that bit because it's like straight off the bat, first thing said, Arnie's a genetically engineered human. He's got like 6 fathers who were chosen for their genetic excellence. But it's going through like the lab of all these genetic specimens. They're all like old skinny men.
Yeah, I thought that. They're all on the treadmills. They've got the thing, like sensors plugged onto their heads. And you look at them, you're like, man, do you want to sit down?
Yeah, it's like their skin sagging off their body. Like, and also the people in that lab, right? There's a picture of they take a picture of their mum and their 6 dads and the scientists or whatever. Yeah. The people in the lab aren't in that photo. The people in the picture are like these ripped dudes like, oh, we're the best. The people in the lab, like I said, they're just old skinny men like
I mean, maybe it was supposed to be a little like that's how they weeded out, you know, the top candidates.
Yeah.
They just had them on a treadmill for 3 hours.
That's how they decided.
Yeah.
They're like, can you last 3 hours on a treadmill? If you can, bang this woman with 6 other men.
Oh my god, yeah. They're like, that's science, isn't it? Yeah. That's how we work. Yeah, we'll just do that. Oh, good. But yeah, I mean, so, you know, Arnold's being told all this kind of, I mean, he's like, they said he's like 30 something. He's like, you know, very early 30s. He's only kind of being told this now about his origins. And just straight off the bat, I mean, he's just like, I must find him. You know, you just love his accent straight off the bat.
He's like, It's so weird. I made this note later on, but his acting in this is both so good and so terrible at the same time. Yeah. It's incredible.
Well, it's that perfect role where like being awkward and stiff is the character. Yeah, exactly. So it works perfectly.
Yeah. I said it later, but everything he says is just fucking gold. Oh, like Danny DeVito makes him a microwave dinner, and Arnie smells it and he goes, "Yummy."
I've got some great quotes that I've highlighted in my notes, and I can't wait to get to them. One of my favourite ones is early on, where I'll just say it now because we'll get to it in a second.
All right, yeah.
It's brilliant.
But yeah, you're right. He's just like, it's just so wooden, but it's perfect. Yeah.
And just the way he stands and kind of holds himself as well. He's so fucking wide because he's so strong and everything, you know. Like, so he's so kind of like stiff as a board, but you know, the way he holds himself and everything is perfect.
But yeah, Arnie finds out about Danny DeVito. Obviously, he doesn't know it's Danny DeVito.
He just knows he has a brother.
And the voiceover is like, Arnie goes to an airport, but it's on an island 27 miles away. So he just fucking absolute Chad just gets a little rowing boat and rows there. Like
I thought that was so funny.
They're in a top science facility. He could have got a boat or a helicopter, maybe.
Or there must have been other ways off of this island, and he just gets like an inflatable kind of dinghy boat, and he's just like, "No, I shall row."
He's like, "I got now." They're like,
they're like, "The helicopter will be here in 5 minutes." He's like, "No, helicopter is too slow."
Yeah, I got now. I row to America.
I don't want to go to the chopper. Yeah, he just rows his way off of this island.
He's like rowing down a road, like
sheer strength, just pushing himself along with his oars. But yes, I mean he's on his way, and then we then get to meet Danny DeVito, and of course, I mean, obviously that's the premise. Like, I mean, you see the poster, and it's like, oh look, it's Arnold, and he's big, and he's tall, and he's strong, and it's Danny DeVito. You know, he's short, he's Danny DeVito, but they really kind of amp it up because Danny DeVito's character is a real kind of scumbag. You know, I mean, straight away, the first time we see him, he's clearly cheating, or not. Well, he is cheating as well, but from what we see in the beginning bit, is just like he's in somebody's room, and then their husband comes home, or whoever comes home, because he sneaks out the top of the roof and whatever, and he rolls off the roof, and then he stood there like, all right, got away with it, and he kind of walks away, and so we're kind of introduced to this after like the perfect human specimen just hardcore rowing his way off.
Well, you say that, I did write that they are both the perfect human specimen. They are just
I mean, of course,
sex icons, like on the opposite end of the scale. Like, like Arnie's this fucking beast of a man, chiseled, 0% body fat. But then Danny DeVito's just like that sleazy, like, "Hey baby, wanna come have sex with me?" Like, and you're both like, oh, God damn.
Yeah, exactly. Because Arnie is completely inept, like socially, whereas Danny DeVito's character, he's so like, he's just smooth. Like even though you know that he's kind of scummy and stuff like that, he comes across like smooth. You know what I mean? You can see how you're like, oh, he can kind of like, he's kind of got like a silver tongue and whatever, and he really kind of knows what he's doing. Apart from when he's doing he's talking to who you kind of understand to be his actual like girlfriend. You've seen him with other people, and he's talking to her. He needs to borrow some money. He needs to borrow some money, and you're kind of introduced briefly to her and her sister. They both work in like this. It's like a restaurant type deal, I think, or like a bar restaurant thing. And the sister is like, if he asks you for money, don't give him any more money. Like, you know, he does this, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he immediately asks for money, and she says no. And then he kind of looking up at her as if he's like as if he's trying to do puppy dog eyes, and like as if he's a dog being like or whatever, but he's just growling. He's just looking at it and going.
It's literally like something out of It's Always Sunny, because he's just staring at this room and going like.
Oh, it's so funny. I was just like, what is he doing? And it works on her as well.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, don't do the thing.
She's like, oh, don't do the thing. I guess it's supposed to be like a sexual, like, oh, he's growling, like, oh, yeah. But just looking at it going, oh. But yeah, and then obviously we get introduced to the idea that, I mean, he's asking for money anyway, so we get introduced to that kind of concept that he
owes 20 grand.
He kind of either has debt or whatever, and these people come in because they're trying to find him because he owes them a lot of money, so he kind of decides to hide behind some tables and chairs and things. There's a bit where the guy talks to the sister, the other one, not the one he's erring at. You know, she's working, she's at a table. Danny DeVito is like hiding underneath the table, but it's one of those circular kind of small like
just
kind
a
of tall,
cafe
but very
table.
thin, kind of like a cafe table. That he's kind of hiding under, and then the guy just like doesn't see him for some reason. It's like video game logic where you're behind the thing. Must have been my imagination.
And he just fucking crawls
he just doesn't
off.
see him.
Like, he just sees this little man crawling on the floor, and he's like, I guess he's not here.
Yeah. Must have been the wind. But yeah, so we kind of have this introduction of the two of them in their different lives, doing different things. I mean, you're seeing Arnie, he's never been off of this island for like 30 years, so he's getting used to all these new sights and things. And does he go and buy the jacket from somewhere, or does he always have that jacket on initially? Because he's wearing like a big kind of suit
oversized jacket, but
then
just
suit
shorts.
jacket with just shorts, and it's genius. Like he looks so awkward. Yeah, it looks so funny. And then he walks past. There's like a big poster of a Stallone film.
I wrote this down.
Yeah, and he walks past and fucking roasts him because he looks at him and looks at his muscles and then kind of feels his own and laughs like.
Yeah, he's like, "Ha, puny man,
tiny man,
strong. I'm strong.
You have no muscles." I was like, damn, shots fired at Stallone. Literally. I only hope that there's a Stallone film where he looks at a picture of Arnie and then compares his own.
Yeah, and he's like,
you got small abs. Hey, Jen, my muscles.
I'm a Stallone. I'm a stallion. We should do
just have a feud between the two. That'd be great.
Is it Expendables, the film that they did together?
Stallone, I mean, I know Stallone's in that. Arnie's in that. Yeah, 100%.
This is a scene of them going like,
just incoherent noises at each other. He's like,
we should definitely do that.
That
would be a good one to listen to.
I want to see that film. Yeah.
Just an hour of us going.
It's a film about the two of them, just called Not Twins. Yeah. It's just the whole film is about the fact that they're not twins, and they're just like got this rivalry. Yeah, there's no story to it. It's just that they're not twins.
It's just them in a room, incoherently shouting at each other for 2 hours.
I want to see it happen, Hollywood.
I'm funding it. I've got 15 million. Take the 15 million away from twins.
You'll make an easy 200 million. Yeah. But yeah, what else do we get introduced to? I guess
so.
Danny DeVito's kind of dodgy car trade, right?
Yeah. So Danny DeVito's whole thing is that he's got this friend that works in a garage or something, or like a parking garage.
He's like a parking lot. Hands out the tickets and stuff, I think. Yeah. He's kind of like the attendant or whatever.
And he's like, oh, we've got this nice car. You can go steal it and sell it for money, whatever.
Which, by the way, is the actor is David Caruso, the guy who plays, CSI Miami guy. It's like, yeah!
The thing is, like, I
it's weird singing about sunglasses.
There are so many people actually in this that you're like, oh, I recognize them. But because the stars are Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger, so you just don't notice anyone else.
You don't focus on them. Yeah,
just like someone else is talking and just looking at like Arnold Schwarzenegger, just listening, like yeah. I love him.
He's like, who else is in this? Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. So like, he steals a car at one point. He just like nonchalantly just fucking walks up to this car, like
pretends he's missed his keys or whatever, like he's trying to find them in his pockets because somebody else is like leaving.
And then just like it's nothing, just picks the lock, just slides that long piece of metal that they have down the window.
This is what I'm saying about his like comic kind of. His bloody, what would you say?
His comedic timing.
His comedic timing and his comedic, his kind of the way he acts and stuff, because it looks like he's going to go and get some keys. I mean, he does the kind of thing, he's feeling for his keys, whatever, and then he reaches into his pocket, and then he just takes out this huge long strip of metal, just like it's nothing. He just goes like, whoop, and then just cracks it open, and he's in. Yeah,
he's so brilliant, honestly, like... I mean, he's a completely different guy, and It's Always Sunny. He's just this disgusting cretin of a man.
Yeah,
but like back in the day, like there's so many films of him. I mean, Deck the Halls. I'm telling you, best film ever.
Oh yeah,
but it's the same thing. He's so smooth. Like he's such this like silver tongued, sweet talking guy that's like, oh, hey, you know?
Yeah. Come on, I'm just breaking into this car.
Yeah. Oh.
That was it. just oh. It's going to be his signature line.
Yeah.
Just oh. I think he really sent himself there. Oh, it's great because I mean we're talking over like a voice chat, you know. Sometimes his audio just cuts out, so I never know whether he's just dead.
I'm fucking dead. Cry, I've got tears in my
It just
eyes.
goes. You're like you laugh, but it's silent on my end, so you go.
And then it's like
gone.
silent for 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's silent for 2 minutes, and I know that you're just laughing.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, so Danny DeVito just doing his thing. Oh. Yeah. This makes for great content, you know.
Just me. Fucking, I've lost it.
Fucking dying.
I don't even know what's going on anymore.
But yeah, yeah. So while Aidan's having a breakdown, I'll summarize. I think where we were. But yeah, so that's kind of his trade. That's what Danny DeVito's character does.
I'm sorry.
He's got the giggles. There's no stopping.
That's his one
Is it
line
just the oh?
in the film. Danny DeVito just says one thing in this whole film. He just goes, oh!
That's it.
It just got me.
Oh, man.
Woo! All right.
Pull us back in.
So Arnie goes to the orphanage where he finds out that Danny DeVito.
Oh, hang on. Before we get to that, you're skipping over my favorite line of the whole film.
Oh, really?
I'm sure it's before that, because it's when he's still walking around the streets and we're getting used to what he's doing, what Danny DeVito's doing. You know, Danny DeVito's breaking into cars and he's going off and he's pawning them off for some money, and then Arnie's kind of just walking around with I don't know if we ever know what's in the briefcase. He's just walking around with a briefcase all the time.
Yeah, it's like this metal bulletproof. It's like a briefcase.
Like a big like proper metal thing. And somebody stops to like ask him for a light because he's looking at the shop windows and stuff like that. And it's like obviously a setup to rob him, because his friend then comes by and he's on like a motorbike and he goes to like grab the big briefcase out of Arnold's hand, and he just, I mean, he goes to grab it out of his hand, and it just doesn't even faze Arnie. Because he grabs it, it like pulls him off the motorbike. He goes like flying and lands on his back, and the guy's like, "Oh my god!" And he looks at Arnie, he's like, "What did you do?" And he goes to help him, and because his character is so like good natured, he didn't even suspect a thing, and he's like, "I didn't do anything." And the best line is where he's like, "Oh my God, what have you done to him?" And he goes, "I did nothing. The pavement was his enemy."
Yeah.
I was like, perfect writing. Like that's.
I thought you were going to say the bit before that when he asked him for a light and he's like, "No, I don't smoke." It says it so weird.
Oh, yeah, I just love that. Just the phrasing, everything. Just the pavement was his enemy.
The pavement was his enemy.
Yeah. And then he's like, "The next time you should really consider wearing helmets."
Yeah. And they're like, "Yeah, bye."
It's like, But I mean, obviously, yeah, I mean, we get to see he's not just like physically kind of crazy superior. He's also like, he just kind of feels the guy's head and his shoulders and everything. And he's like, "Oh, you want to go to hospital? Like, you've got this and this and this." Whether, he's very kind of smart and in all ways, but socially. So, yeah, kind of get that feeling from him. But yeah, so, I mean, carry on. He the orphanage, didn't he?
Then, because he's trying to find Danny. So he's like, "I got to orphanage." And he speaks to a nun about his brother. And he's like, "Oh, he must have been so like me. Did he like poetry or chess?" And the nun's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah. He's like the demon incarnate.
Yeah, start a fire.
Yeah. Because they have a lot of these, the whole thing of like, oh, twins can feel each other's pain over distance, or they can kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, there have actually been cases in real life where twins have been separated and they've lived scarily similar lives and married people with the same name who look the same and all this kind of like crazy stuff. And you've kind of got, it gets more intense with it later on, but you have it where Arnie kind of looks at her bed and he's like, "I think he must have slept in this bed." And she's like, "What?" "Yeah, how do you know that?" And then he's giving this explanation about like, "Oh, it's nearest to the fire extinguishers, so if there's a fire, then he can put out the fire and he can save everyone's lives." And she was like, "Well, he was the one starting the fires."
Yeah.
But she says that I remember what brought it up, but she says that about the fact that he got one of the nurse. Oh yeah, I put nurse rather than. Did he see a nurse at some point, or did I just put nurse instead of nun?
I think you put nurse.
I think I just put nurse instead of nun. It's just a nun-nurse, maybe, or a nurse nun. Don't know which way around that would be. But she's saying about how one of the nuns got like kicked out of the convent. I don't know what else happened to her because of Danny DeVito's character. By the way, his name's like Vincent, I think. Which I don't know if we really need to say what their names are, but
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, but the implication of that is that he banged the nun.
Oh, he did. 100%.
And that's the thing. It's because I was like, is that what they kind of said? And kind of carried on with it. And then later on, like way later on in the film, he makes a joke where he's like, "I banged the nun when I was 12. Like,
yeah.
And I was like, wait, why is she framing it like, she's there like, "Oh, this little demon. Yeah, he got his nun kicked out because he banged her." And I was like, he was 12. That nun is a pedo and raped him.
Yes.
Are you joking me? What are you talking about?
It's like they think,
"Oh, this bloody kid. Oh, he's just banging the nuns and he's..." It's like, what the fuck?
I think he's like the same when he was 12. He just came out with like bolding.
He's like, "Hey,
fucking, I steal cars. I steal your mother's milk.
I steal cars like I steal nuns." Hey.
But yeah, literally, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I was like, is that, like, seriously? Yeah. I just kind of laughed off later as well. He's like, it's all good. Yeah. I was like,
because it's that's when he's like, Arnie's nervous to have sex or whatever. And he's like,
yeah.
And he's like, "Were you nervous the first time?" And he's like, "Nah, I was 12. I had sex with the nun."
Yeah.
But Danny's like, "Oh, you haven't had sex before?" Arnie's like, "No, I respect women." And instantly, Danny DeVito's like, "Virgin. Fucking virgin, mate. You're a virgin. No one respects women in the 80s. Yeah. Disgusting."
It's because they're talking about the two sisters.
Yeah.
One of which Danny DeVito's character is. I mean, yeah, that's later on, but Yeah, I think because he's saying that the other sister likes Arnold, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know, yeah, this, that, and the other," and he's like, "I really respect the women," and then immediately it's like the switch that clicks in his head, and he's like, "You're a virgin." He's like,
"Yeah,
no,
I just respect women." Yeah. What are you talking about?
But yeah, Danny DeVito just goes, "Oh." All these impressions are on point, by the way. Just want to highlight that there's no. They're just perfect. Is what I'm getting at. I don't know if Aidan's been sent off again.
Don't stop. Yeah.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Just carry on. I'll catch up.
Yeah, I mean, they first meet because Danny DeVito gets kind of caught. He owes like 1 million parking tickets, whatever. Yeah. He's then in the local jail, and Arnold comes to bail him out. I mean, he doesn't know how any of that works anyway.
Yeah.
But he must have been given. Maybe that's what's in the briefcase. He must have been given a whole bunch of money, right? Because I mean, Danny DeVito's character makes a comment later on where he says something about like he's like recapping what he's learned about Arnie, and he says like, "Oh, you don't have any money because you've never needed to like work to get any money," something like that. Yeah. So he took a flight over and he bailed him out and everything. So he must have had like, maybe it's just the briefcase was just. He had his own 5 million. He didn't even need the other briefcase of 5 million that turns up later on. But they're
give it back. I have it already.
No, don't worry. I've got 10 million here. But yeah, so I mean, they first meet when on opposite sides of what do they call it? Like the kind of visitors thing in a jail where they've got the big glass panel and you have to use the phone. But Arnie doesn't know that, so he's just talking, like saying this great speech to the glass pane. And again, Danny DeVito, he's just so funny because he's just sat there like he's doing that thing that people do. I think the writing was very good in this as well, to give them this. But like he's doing that thing people do and I do this if something's really loud and I pretend that I'm like saying something.
Yeah.
Even though I'm just kind of mouthing. I was about to do an impression of it, but it would just be silence on this because there's no, and so you kind of already established this thing of he's kind of, Arnie doesn't really know what he's doing, and Danny DeVito's kind of taking the mick out of him for it, and you kind of get that good chemistry between them, and just kind of roasting him and stuff. And it's I think now it's a bit more of a I don't know at the time, but it's definitely a bit more of a thing we've seen a lot. It's like, oh, these two. It's like with buddy cop films and stuff. These two are polar opposites, and the kind of comedy comes in the chemistry between them and all this kind of thing. And so again, classically, as usual, you have the whole thing where Danny DeVito doesn't kind of believe him, doesn't want to hang around. He's like, "Cool, you bailed me out. Thanks, idiot. I'm going to leave."
Yeah.
I don't want any of this. And then Arnie says, I don't remember what Danny DeVito's character said beforehand, but Arnie's like, "Don't lie to me. We are twins. I can feel your pain."
Don't lie. We are twins.
I can feel your pain. And I was like, yeah, that's great.
But like, that
just freaking him out.
At the start of the film, they're like, because they're saying how Arnie's a fucking prime
super
specimen.
Soldier. Yeah,
he's a super soldier. He's really they're like, he's really intelligent because of all the books he's read. But he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
like, he's so dumb.
Well, he's like factually, he knows lots.
Yeah.
Kind of big scale things.
Yeah, that's the whole point, right? But he's just so fucking. But like, even to the point where you're like, even if you've grown up on an island, you see the phone there, and there's people surrounded. People. Yeah, there's people surrounding, talking into these phones on the other side of the glass, and he's like,
"That's
Hello,
true.
I was sat here and talked to the glass.
He's just like a big puppy. He's just so excited to see." Even though he doesn't think it's him at first until he gets told by the guys at the jail, like, "Oh no, that's the guy you're looking for," and he's like, you're my brother." But he always, a note that I made is that he always looks like he's in a commercial. That type of thing where they're like advertising something. Like you almost expect him to look at Danny and be like, try this new I don't know, shampoo or something.
It's the oversized suit jacket, I think, that does it.
yeah,
It's like the
probably.
classic-
And then like the grin is like such a kind of, again, it's so awkward and stiff. It just really looks like a commercial thing.
He's like, I
is so
hate it
funny.
when I spill my milk, so I've invented this milk funnel. And smiles at the camera.
Is he like an evil German scientist?
I've invented this milk funnel. I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
This episode's just going full of
Fucking off the rails.
terrible impressions. It was great.
It's the Danny DeVito one's really thrown me off. I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore.
Oh, that's good. But their chemistry is great.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's like the performance in this film. I mean, it's centered around Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's just them basically, but they're so good.
Yeah.
They're like buddying about, punching each other's stomachs and whatever, and you really feel like they have this chemistry.
And this kind of connection, like I said, almost like a sibling.
Yeah, really,
connection,
really.
especially
like
as it goes on. Yeah,
Arnie's being a fucking idiot again. He's like, I don't know how hands that work, and then Danny DeVito's kind of like chuckling, like, "Oh, you're so funny, you're so silly, ha ha ha." But yeah, they really do put in a good performance in this. I was very impressed.
And I think like I said with the writing, like it's funny, especially when we watch. Like for this, or when we just watch things on our own or whatever, we watch a dumb film and something stupid happens and we're like, oh, that's stupid because of this. And it kind of like stuff that Arnold does that's stupid, Danny DeVito then calls him out for it or whatever. Yeah. Or like, because you have this, Arnie doesn't know how to drive because he's never driven before. So he just like reads a manual and then just picks up the car and he's just like, off he goes. And he ends up accidentally driving like on the side two wheels of the car, and it's like this crazy thing as he was going to this like this supermarket or whatever, and then he sticks the landing, he gets in the parking spot, the car is fine, he tilts back down again onto all four, and then Danny DeVito kind of pulls up next to him and he's like, did you see that amazing trick I just did? And he's like, hey, look, don't be a show off and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's so wacky. It's that kind of 80s, like wacky kind of thing that's going on. And then afterwards, they're like, whoa, wasn't that crazy?
He's like, I don't know. I was just driving. Yeah, because I think it's at that bit. Is it at that bit? Maybe it's a bit later. Because he gets introduced to Danny DeVito's girlfriend's sister, or whatever it is.
Danny DeVito's girlfriend, sisters, friends, uncles, aunties, brother, sisters, cat's owner.
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Arnie was on screen. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, it is Danny DeVito's girlfriend, sister. Yeah. Marnie, I think her name is.
Yeah, and they're like talking, and she's like, "Oh, he's so fucking hot."
Yeah, because they bump into each other, and immediately she's like, "Oh, he's like reading a lady mag, or like
look at a porno."
It's like a porno or something. Yeah, and he's like,
I didn't know.
I didn't know they'd have these. She's like, oh, really?
Naked. She's like, okay. But yeah, then he drives off, and he like does the classic thing. He doesn't know how to drive. He like reverses instead of pulls off. Then he comes back forward. He's like, "Sorry, I've only been driving for an hour."
For 1 hour, yeah.
Just drives up.
Yeah, great visual humor. It reminds me of Baby Driver, where obviously it was done a lot better in Baby Driver. Where he's kind of like does a little finger gun as if to say kind of like punch it, and then the car goes backwards instead of forwards.
Oh yeah.
Kind of they have that kind of comedic playing with what's on the screen and stuff.
Sorry. Will he be driving for it? They should have, Arnold Schwarzenegger should have been Baby Driver.
Could you imagine? They call me Baby. Get in the car now.
I'm very good at driving. Listen to music. I have tetanus or whatever it is.
Tetanus.
What is it? No. The ear thing. Tinnitus.
Tinnitus. Well, it depends which way you're American and English. I don't know which one's the American. But it's just, he gets lockjaw.
dead.
He's just like, oh.
Help! My jaws!
Oh, we're really going so off topic. If it wasn't for the impressions,
we should never do another film with Arnie again. Because
we should exclusively do Arnie films from here on out.
No.
Oh, and he references other films as well. There is a point where he's threatening somebody who's, I think, come to collect debt from Danny DeVito's character, and then he says like, "Oh, if you hurt him, I'll be back." And I was like, he did the thing. He said the thing.
He did the thing. Yeah.
There's a couple lines about cookies, but I don't think it's supposed to be like the put the cookie down. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know when that came out, that film, but yeah. And there's kind of, like I said, there's lots of those things where they inherently do a lot of things the same. There's lots of kind of funny shots where they're both doing the exact same thing. Like they go to the toilet and then even just like washing their hands, they do the exact same motions. You know, they turn the tap on with the right hand. They do whatever. They turn it off. They flick their hands dry 3 times, and then it's like a paper towel dispenser, but you could like pull a lever for it. So they pull it 3 times each, and then they tear it off, and then they throw it in the bin at the same time. So they have a lot of those kind of things.
There's a bit later which made me laugh, and it's kind of going back to their good performance, or Danny DeVito's good performance.
Yeah,
because like Arnie, they both flush the urinal before they go for some reason. And then Arnie's like in hysterics, like, we flushed the toilet before we met. And Danny DeVito is so good. He's just like, yeah, it's not that funny. Like, just like, yeah. But it's just like, it's so realistic. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, we flushed the toilet.
God's sake. But yeah, I mean, you know, we get to that point where they've kind of met up and stuff, and then Arnie wants to look into finding because how does he was told that the mother died in the childbirth, giving birth, but then he finds out somehow. Well, I don't remember. How did he find out? I think that she wasn't dead.
I'm pretty sure he finds out that their dads are still alive.
Oh yeah, that's
so. So he goes and finds one of the dads. So I can't remember how. He somehow finds out where he lives.
Maybe he had that information with him beforehand or something.
Yeah.
Or he like looked him up somehow. But again, the story isn't.
Yeah.
The point is that, you know, he goes there and sees this guy and he's like, "I'm son."
Yeah, and the guy's like, okay.
He doesn't really want to be that involved.
Yeah. He's like, I love you so much. I love you from the day I met you. And then the guy's just like, okay, do you want to come in and have a drink? I think we both need a drink. But yeah, I think that's how. Yeah, it's either from him or someone else.
It is from him, because he says, "Oh, they told your mum that you died, and she doesn't know that you exist."
Yeah.
It's like when he's talking to him. Which, by the way, I mean, he was talking about like having, you know, 6 different dads or whatever. He doesn't attempt to find the other ones. He's just like,
he finds
this
the one
one's good
like,
enough.
Yeah.
You know, and then when he finds out about his mum, which was kind of weird as well, because the dad was saying about how, like, I wanted to marry your mum, but she didn't want to because she thought you died.
Yeah.
Childbirth, so she didn't want any more kids and whatever. And I was like, but did he not know that at the time, that they were alive? He knows now.
Well, yeah, but I guess not.
Yeah, so he must not have known at the time, because otherwise he'd just tell her and be like, because surely if he wanted to, you know, marry her, he'd just be like, well, actually, no, your kid's alive. I'll take you to him now. He's on an island, you know.
Because, like, everyone keeps saying, like, the narrator at the start, the dad, they meet a scientist later, they keep all saying how amazing their mum was. But all she did was sleep with 6 guys at once or whatever. You know? Like, they're all like,
I think they said that she was like, some brilliant... But, because she's is she like a painter or something? Because I don't remember them saying that. And then they kind of bring up that point later on. But... yeah, she does these amazing paintings or something. But I mean, while all this is going on, you've got them doing their search for stuff. It wouldn't be an 80s film if there wasn't some kind of like, apart from the stuff with Danny DeVito's character and his debt and stuff, there's also some kind of super dodgy guy who Danny DeVito accidentally steals a car that was meant to go to him, which has, quote unquote, the merchandise. It's got the MacGuffin in the in the back of the car, and he's going to there's a scene just elsewhere where he's talking to the two people who were supposed to set it up for him, and he's like, "Where's my goddamn money, Lebowski?"
Yeah.
But it goes to 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds because he's having this conversation with them saying, will you mess this up or whatever? And they're saying, the car was definitely there. The car was definitely there. And he's like, oh. And then he just shoots them both. He just kills them because he's like, people I work with have never seen my face before, as he's like taking out a silenced pistol. They're like, that's not a big worry. And he just shoots and kills them. And then it cuts to the next scene. I was like, oh.
That guy's so weird as well. It's such like weird casting for him because he's meant to be like this intimidating guy, with a silenced pistol going around killing people. But
he's quite charismatic, isn't he?
Yeah, he just seems like a nice dad.
I mean, I don't think I got nice dad vibes.
I did. He kind of at first I thought it was like Matthew Perry. It's not, by the way.
Yeah,
but he kind of looks like Matthew Perry, and he was just like, "Oh, you've seen my face. Goodbye. Haha. Bye."
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dad.
Dad, told you to stop shooting people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get the 5 million and leave, Dad. Come on.
Because that's the thing. It's I did think it was a bomb at first as well in the back of the car. The quote unquote merchandise.
It's not. Yeah, I said it was a bomb. It's not.
Yeah, it's that'd be a very different kind of. But honestly, I thought it was, or I thought it probably wasn't, but it looked like one.
Yeah.
It was like a fuel. It's like a jet fuel thing, and whoever gets it first on the market gets lots of money. That kind of thing. Yeah. But the people that were supposed to hand the car over to the car that then gets stolen because of Danny DeVito's shenanigans of jacking all these cars. There's a cassette tape in the car that is like a 10-second long thing that tells the guy, something like, okay, take the merchandise to this location to get paid for the thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? It's basically just that he has the location. Well, why didn't they just do that before? They were obviously in contact with him and everything. Yeah. So it's just there so that Danny DeVito could put it into the cassette tape player and then be like, oh.
Yeah, oh shit. There's a funny bit later we'll get to in a second. But also, like, that was the one thing. I mean, we always find something where we're like, that's dumb, stupid.
Yeah. Oh, stupid. I could have done it better. Give me 15 million.
Yeah. But, like, it doesn't... Why don't they just take the car themselves? They're like, oh, he's got to take it. We've got to give it to this guy. Us two guys have got to drop this car off in this car park. And this other guy has got to pick up the car. And then he goes and takes it. And he's going to get 5 million. It's like, just do it yourself.
He's not the buyer. He's just like some middleman.
Yeah, exactly.
Because maybe they don't want to be associated with whatever. But then just, organize a pick up this. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's just that they can have like a evil guy chasing them, whatever.
Yeah. But it's like, so Danny DeVito finds out that it's worth, because the cassette tape's like, oh, call this number so you can find the location or whatever, right? So he calls him to be like, and you kind of have that
being the businessman, being the kind of the con artist that he is. He wants to try and get.
Yeah,
work out how much money it is, but also get more.
Yeah, so he's like, you have the classic thing. He says like, "Oh, I want 20," and the guy's like, "20? Fucking kidding me?" And he's like, "Well, I could get way more than $5,000." And then the guy's like, "What? $5,000? It's worth 5 million or whatever."
Yeah, but then the noises that he makes.
He goes like, and then I counted it. For 20 seconds straight, he just goes, 5 million! 5 million! 5 million!
Once he's done with the phone call and he's dancing around, I made a note of him saying, I wish I was like on set for that scene because it must have been so great to like, but that's the thing, that's what you would do, like, you dance around the fucking place going, $5 million! Oh my god, like, I'm gonna get $5 million if I do this.
But he's just stood there. He's just standing there because he starts $5 million.
Yeah, he's like, 5 million. Yeah.
It's just that the rest of the film is just him going, 5 million. 5 million for like another hour, then that's it.
What's wrong? Are you okay?
5 million. Ow!
Oh.
Yeah, oh.
Yeah, so I mean, he's obviously gearing up to head off then, and I think by this point, they've kind of established a thing between him and Arnie's character, because Arnie's like, hey, our mother is alive, like, we should go see her and see what she's like. DeVito doesn't want to do that initially, because he's saying that, you know, he was, in that case, he was abandoned, he kind of doesn't, you know, believe
Yeah. He's pissed.
This story, and he's pissed, whatever. Yeah. And he has that line where he's like, because Arnie's saying, you know, she's this great woman or whatever, and he goes, DeVito's like, my mother is a slut.
yeah. I was like, whoa. I mean, technically, he's not wrong. Gangbang with 6 dudes, 6 dads.
Just to clarify, in case people haven't seen the film,
she doesn't.
She doesn't actually.
Yeah, she doesn't.
People. They like, you know, it's like an artificial thing where I guess they pull bits of genes from different things with like, different guys and stuff. But yes, she gets raped by 6 guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very out of place. Like
it's like the closest I think to his Always Sunny character.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Your mother was a goddamn whore.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it ends up that Marnie and what's the other? What's Danny? So Marnie's the one who likes Arnie. Marnie and Arnie, and then Danny DeVito is with her sister. Then I can't remember her name. God damn it. I don't remember people's bloody names.
No one matters. No one else matters.
No one else matters. But the point is, the 2 sisters end up kind of tagging along because they kind of have like a bit of a back and forth, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to tell everyone unless you let us tag along," and whatever. But when they go over to the house, because it was just kind of randomly, they were like, "Oh, it was his birthday, like the day before." I mean, both of their birthdays because they're twins.
Yeah.
And obviously, at this point, Marnie has met Arnie, stupid Marnie and Arnie, and learns that he's inside taking a shower because he's getting ready to leave. He's trying to convince Danny DeVito's character to go with him to New Mexico to see the mother. No, that's to see. Is that not to see the father? That is to see the mother, right?
That's to see
that's to see the mother.
Yeah,
that's to try. No. This is why I'm getting confused. It's to see the scientist guy.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's to see the scientist guy.
The one
the main one in charge who did all this kind of stuff. I literally watched it like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, same. And I'm just like,
what did they do again?
Danny
What's
DeVito?
The story? It doesn't really matter. But the point is that he's getting ready, and Marnie says, "Oh, I'll just go and chat to him and give him this thing that she made, whatever kind of food it was, whatever dish." Because he's like in the shower, and she just walks in. She like goes out into the room and everything, and he's singing that song, and she's just like, "Yeah, let's see some of that. I'm gonna go find him. He's in the shower.
I want to see how big his dick is."
He's like, "No,
I'm a virgin. I respect women," or whatever it was.
And then it's just kind of like she's talking to him in his room, and he's gonna get changed. So then she's like, "Oh, sorry, yeah, I'll turn around." And he goes behind, kind of half behind something to get changed. And she's got a mirror in front of her that she's like angling towards her.
Yeah,
like,
she's like,
God damn it.
Because then it's like a kind of a mini road trip with them like stopping off in motels and stuff, right? Oh no! Before that they go. That's when they see the scientist, right? They go on a road trip and then they find out what the scientist is. Yeah, they're like staying in a motel, and he's like Danny DeVito and Arnie are sharing a room in a motel. There's 2 beds, and Danny DeVito's like, "Oh, which bed you want?" And Arnie's like, "Oh no, I always sleep on the floor." Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Why?
Where has he been for 30 years? He's like, he doesn't know what a t-shirt is, and like all this shit. He sleeps on the floor. It's just, like, what the fuck?
It's like he's just been living under a rock. I mean, he's just lived with scientists and stuff, but it's not like I get maybe the joke because scientists aren't very social, but he doesn't sleep in a bed. Yeah, like it just doesn't make any sense.
I sleep on the floor always.
But we get at the same time we're getting kind of cutbacks to this mobster guy that's slowly on their trail, you know, and he goes into the house. Obviously, at this point they've left. He goes into DeVito's house to try and get some information about where to find them, you know, whatever. And he comes across the mob family that, like, they come into the house as well. The mob family that DeVito owes money to.
Yeah, the 20 grand.
The 20 grand, like, not too much.
Yeah,
and they come in, they're like, who are you? And all this kind of stuff. And he's like, oh, you don't need to know who I am. And blah, blah, it doesn't matter, whatever. But he's got his gun on him. So then it gets to the point where he just decides to shoot a couple of them in the foot and then, leave and just be like, oh, fuck you guys. But I was like, but why didn't he kill them? Because he has one of his like whole things is that he says, anybody who's seen my face, like, doesn't live.
You gotta die,
yeah, you gotta die. So he just shoots him in the feet instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the one guy that doesn't get shot in the feet, like, the other guy leaves and he looks at the two guys on the floor, like, cradling their feet that just like a bullet through them. And he's like, I guess I should call you guys the doctor.
Yes, I guess.
Or the hospital or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I'll go do that. You're like, what? It just happened. It probably happens every other week, in the
they're like, uh-oh, another doctor. Good thing we got good insurance.
But the doctor that Danny and God, every time I don't know why I keep getting confused, but the Danny and Arnie go and see
the scientist. You mean
the scientist guy? Yeah. I put doctor in the notes maybe because I was saying, but it's not like he'd been following their lives or anything, but he goes hard on Danny DeVito's character.
Like, he's so
for
mean.
No reason, really. I mean, maybe he kind of gets like a first impression that he's of the kind of person he is, but he doesn't know anything about what he's done during his life. I mean, he's there with Arnie, who's like the success of what they were trying to create, mostly. Yeah. And then he's with him, but he's just like, look at him, he's so shit. You're genetic garbage or whatever.
He's like, Arnie, look at you. You got all the good stuff, and Danny DeVito, look at him. He's ugly. He's got all the leftover shit that you didn't get. God, he's disgusting.
Yeah, he's just absolute ramming on the guy, and it's like, why? You don't know anything about him. Yeah. And that's why it's with him that Arnie says, like, I'll be back.
Yeah.
And I think he's trying to convince DeVito, because Danny DeVito's character gets very low, and he's like, oh my God, I'm just genetic garbage and all this kind of stuff. And Arnie's trying to cheer him up, and he's like, we are twins. We are basically the same. And like proceeds to like psychoanalyze him and stuff, and kind of tell him that that's the whole kind of the writer kind of being a bit on the nose and being like, Danny DeVito's character is insecure because of these things. Blah, 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 within the dialogue. So, but yeah, it was like Arnie his character's very wholesome, and he's very, like we said, he's kind of very socially inept, so he has that kind of innocence about him and stuff. But sometimes the lines that he delivers come across way creepier than I'm sure he means to, because he has that thing with Danny DeVito's character where he's basically saying to him, like, look, let's go and find, like, screw the scientist guy, let's go and find our mum, and we can all be like a family. And I thought they were framing it so that DeVito's character was going to turn around and be like, nah, screw that.
Yeah.
But he
just doesn't.
He just doesn't. He actually kind of wants to. Yeah. And I think that's where this film definitely, it had a lot more of a wholesome vibe than I thought it was going to.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a really feel-good film.
Yeah, by the time you get to definitely the second half of the film, at least.
Yeah. Because you're like, this film is called Twins, and it's about Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger being twins, and you're like, that's very dumb. And then, it just hits you. Second half of the film, you're like, oh.
You're like, yeah, they are twins.
And they love each other.
They're brothers.
They're brothers.
But it's when Arnie says, the creepy line is when he's like, say something, you'll always be family. And he kind of just smiles at him and he leans in. He's like, even when you've been bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, please. I'm sorry, I won't be bad again, okay? Just stop. And then, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, like, they do, like, another road trippy bit, and that's when Arnie, like, finally bangs that chick.
DeVito's way too excited to get him to. That's when you get that more siblingy kind of thing, right? Because he's like, "You're gonna bone, come on."
It's like, we're seeing our mum tomorrow. You're gonna bone today,
and he's really trying to. He's like trying to teach him how to dance and stuff.
Yeah.
Which was that was a really nice scene, because it really does feel like. apart from the bit where he says like, "Oh, make sure no one's watching" or something. He kind of, as a throwaway joke, like glancing out the window, like, "Oh, we're not gay."
Yeah. Classic 80s.
It's like, "Oh, no, we're brothers. We're not gay. Come on, what are you talking about?" Which is not good. And he's like teaching him how to dance and whatever, and it's just wholesome. You kind of expect there to be like a joke made. Like, oh, Arnie's so awkward. Oh, he falls over and whoops. Oh, but it's just wholesome.
Yeah, honestly, like most of the end, half an hour? It's all just like wholesome bits, scary people shooting.
Wholesome vibes. Wholesome vibes only.
Yeah. But yeah, where he finally gets with that chick and, it's the classic, he doesn't really know how to deal with it. And she's like, oh, they're going to fuck, so I got to stay with you in your room tonight. And he's like, okay. And then she's wearing like lingerie and stuff. She's like posed on the bed. And again,
and she's like, good night.
Which bed?
Or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. She goes, good night. And he's like, good night. And he's sleeping on the floor again. She's like, which bed should I take? He's like, I don't know. I sleep on the floor. But that line is good night.
Yeah.
But then after that, after they bone and stuff, there's like a tracking shot across their face.
Yeah.
And it's like she's got the cigarette and she's like, oh damn, that was good. And then there's a close up of Arnie's face. He looks so funny. If you look on your phone, I sent it to you. I'll put it up on our Instagram.
Oh, did you?
At Bad Film Good at Instagram, and you guys can see it when this goes up. It's so funny.
He looks like the whole universe has been opened up to him.
Yeah.
At the same time as being on drugs.
Yeah, he's like, wow, this was amazing.
That was life changing.
Yeah. It's just so funny. I visibly was in tears. Because it caught me off guard.
And he's frozen with that as well. Like, it doesn't move. He's just
it's just like the same facial expression, like just so funny.
That's when he got the lockjaw from the tetanus.
Yeah, from the tetanus. Yeah, he's like, help!
I can't move. Oh, I made a note saying, just noting about the fact that whenever he, like before then, whenever she's a bit close to him or whatever, when he gets nervous, I guess because he like tenses up, because his muscles are so big, he like rips his shirt and whatever. Because he gets so tense. And I just imagine that like whenever he gets nervous, he just kind of tenses up and whatever. And so he just like crushes her. She's like, oh, hey, like, I'll come down and sleep on the floor with you. Because that's what she says, like, don't want to sleep on the bed. And she's oh, hey. And he's like, and she's like, no, this is too much. She's like, I'm sorry, I'm just too strong.
My muscles, they're dancing too much. Help me.
But yeah, I mean, we go back to the actual main story then after his night of passion. I think that's when they go to the bar, right? Because I don't remember what kind of happens in between that, but they're all just kind of having fun, having some drinks. No, is that before then? It's before then that they're at the bar and having drinks and stuff. Because I noted down about the mobsters come back because they kind of find where they are. It's because it's on the big night. Like DeVito's trying to psych Arnie up for boning. They're in the bar. They're all having fun, and then that's when Arnie and DeVito go off to the toilet, and they have that kind of funny thing where they do the same flushes and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And then the mobsters turn up and sit with the girls, and they're like, "Yeah, we want to talk to Danny DeVito and whatever." And I was just like, these guys don't quit. They're literally wearing casts on their feet. They took bullets to the feet. They thought the guy was probably with Danny DeVito's character, the evil man, whatever. I don't know. What is he, like a contract hit? He's not a hitman exactly. He's just like
he's a driver with a gun.
He's just a guy that they're giving 5 minutes. Yes, I don't understand about that.
Yeah.
It must have been him who organized it and then got those other guys to set him up with the car for some reason.
So.
I guess, because he's the one who gets the money. Oh, as in, like, that's the plan.
That's the plan.
He's the one who hands over the goods and gets the money. And I guess maybe they get a cut for giving him a car that he can't be followed in or something. I don't know.
I have no idea. Again, we said it about 10 times now, but the story doesn't matter.
Just like a story doesn't matter. I mean, that's when you have the whole thing in the bar where, like, Arnie has this thing where he's talking to them about the rules of, what is it? The rules of, it's not combat, but it's like, he's saying, you broke the, because he keeps telling people they acted too soon. And it's the rules of something like combat, like it's a kind of a situation where you're in like a confrontation, maybe rules of confrontation, I don't know. You know, he kind of, every now and then he'll say what the next rule is and things like that. And he says that they broke the second rule because if they're going to threaten something, they've got to establish that they're not somebody that you could call their bluff, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, because they're going to, like, pretending that they're going to shoot the girls if they don't cooperate. So then he just beats the shit out of everyone. Like, all of the mobsters. There's, like, 4 or 5 of them. And everybody's around them. There's, like, a big dance floor. Everyone's like, oh, my God. And he's just, like, throwing punches, just leveling these guys. And they're all just completely out of it. They're just knocked out straight away. Maybe dead. Nobody knows. And everybody
we don't
pauses.
see them again.
We don't see them again. Yeah, that's true. Everyone pauses and just goes, yeah! Carries on dancing around the fucking possibly dead men on the floor.
Yeah. They're like, whoa! Yeah, get him!
Yeah, it's the 80s!
Yeah, whoa!
People pass out all the time, it doesn't matter. Does he need first aid? Probably not. He's in like a neck brace from the last time he fought this guy. Yeah. You know?
But then, they go to see their mum, and they do the fake out of, like, their mum is like, oh no, she's dead.
Yeah, because it's like a painting. What is it that the place that they go to?
I don't know. It's like a massive house, but then it's like
a big estate kind of thing. But there's loads of people there. It's maybe like a home or private
painting house,
painting place, and maybe like an auction there. I'm not sure. It's like they mention because her name is Miriam, right? And they say about the, like, Miriam Foundation or whatever it's called. And they just assume that this woman who was stood out there painting, they were like, that must be her, that's me mum.
Yeah. Just this random woman.
Just this random woman, like 2 seconds in, where they climb over the wall and they're like, oh, that's her over there.
Yeah. The first lady we've seen.
Obviously, it's it's very predictable that the woman that kind of stops them and says, why are you here? I mean, you broke in, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
You're kind of like, she's probably going to be the mum. And she's like, oh no, she's dead. Sorry, guys. And then just kicks them out. She's like, fuck off.
Nah, but she's talking to them at first as this, like, I mean, obviously she is alive, but she's talking to them like that. Yeah, she's here. She'll, like, I can take her to her. And then they walk for a bit and she's like, nah, she's dead.
It's just like, she's here in spirit, but here's the door.
She's dead. Bye.
Yeah. It's because she then talks to somebody else afterwards and says that she thinks that they were,
they're trying to get her money.
Real estate agents or whatever. They're trying to, like, sell off. Yeah, they're trying to get her to sell the place. Yeah. But yeah, obviously they call her Miriam or whatever, and she's like, but I don't have any kids. I did have one kid, but he died in childbirth. And you're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
What a twist.
And then they're like, no, okay, goodbye. Yeah. Let's go. And then Danny DeVito gets, like, pissed off. Cause...
Yeah, it's the classic kind of, then they've had all the great stuff, and then they have the troublesome kind of bit before the last kind of arc of the film, where they split up because Danny DeVito's like, "Oh, fuck you."
Yeah, he drives off without them.
Yeah, he just leaves them. He just leaves on like a gas station or something.
Yeah. He drives off, and then he's like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna go get my 5Gs." And then obviously, he delivers it, and they do a good fake out again because you think like. At first, you're like, oh, he's going to turn up, and they're going to be like, thanks for the package, now we're going to kill you.
Yeah, because, I mean, he's just some complete inexperienced amateur guy who just turns up and he's like, here's the money. No, here's the, what is it, jet engine.
Yeah. Can I just have freely. Some money?
Yeah, give money, please.
And they're like, okay. and it's not like they think he's the proper guy. They're like, oh, well. You know, you're not the proper guy, so... And he's like clearly you're an amateur. You said you'd give me the money. And they're like, oh yeah, we did. Here's the money.
Yeah, they're like, don't worry, we are going to give you the money. Here's the money. And then they just give it to him. And then he's just like, $5 million!
Yeah. $5 million. Yeah, then for another 20 seconds, he's like, $5 million. $5 million. $5 million. Yeah. Oh!
Meanwhile, I think Arnie is he's like using his. He literally is like a big puppy dog, right? He's using his special senses to find Danny DeVito. He's like sniffing him out because he takes a plane. I don't know where he gets the money from. He takes a plane to go and because he's like, I have to go find him. He's like driving around and like walking around and just kind of everything that Danny DeVito's character is doing. Like he spills a bit of coffee on himself and he's like, my hand.
Yeah.
And then Arnie's it just suddenly starts happening where Arnie then suddenly he puts his hand to the back of his other hand as if he could feel the pain and all this kind of stuff. He's like, I sense that he's in this direction.
Yeah. I mean, like he comes when he finds him. It's because the scary man turns up. He's like, that $5 million's mine. Also, I'm going to shoot the other two guys for some reason. Oh, because they've seen my face or whatever.
Yeah, I guess. Or because because he goes and does he actually go to see them in person? I think he does. Like Scary Man goes to see the people
he calls them
all the
something.
money. No, I think he goes to see them in person because Danny DeVito calls them up to say like, yeah, I'm going to be wrong African accent.
It's just all
they're twins. It's all. He gets them to say that he'll be there. That he's gonna bring the money, soon or whatever. And he's like, oh well, that's the guy on the phone. And then the evil man, whatever his name is like, well, I'm gonna go get that money.
Yeah.
So he like the trade over happens. Danny gets his money, and then the people are driving off, and then they get shot.
Yeah.
By what kind of gun does he have? Because
it's like a weird shotgun sniper thing.
Yeah, like a shotgun sniper. It's like super long range, but it looks like a shotgun. It's got like a vertical grip pump on the front.
Yeah. It's
very strange.
Yeah. But yeah, so then you have the thing of like Danny DeVito's running away from the guy, and then Arnie's like fucking turns up in this like fresh caddy. and at first you're just like, where the fuck? Like, we haven't seen him for a while. He just rocks up in this fucking caddy, and then afterwards, even Danny DeVito's like, where the fuck did you get that caddy from? He's like, I got it from a cowboy.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if it's a deleted scene or they were just like, that's good. We'll just got it from Cowboys. Fine. Yeah. It doesn't
keep
matter.
That take.
Yeah,
give it from a cowboy.
But I just love that ending kind of scene where they have this face off with the guy. Danny DeVito's about to escape, but then the guy is like gonna shoot Arnie because Arnie's like, I don't like violence. Like, let's resolve this.
Yeah.
And then Danny DeVito can kind of feel that he's in trouble, and he's like, damn it. And he turns back and he's like, okay, stop, don't kill him. I've got the $5 million here, Yeah. But it's so straight. Like, I really like the way that it's kind of, the way that it plays out, because it's so weird, because this guy has a gun and he's like threatening to shoot them. And Danny DeVito's just like, look, I've got your money here. Okay, look, here it is. There you go. Go away, please. And he, turns to Arnie and he's like, are you okay? And he kind of clearly cares about him. And then the guy's like, open the case. And he's like, what? Open the case? Okay, fine. Opens the case for him. And he turns around and he carries on talking to Arnie. And he's like, okay, close the case. He's like, open the case, close the case. Come on, what are you doing? And he's got the gun pointed at them the whole time. He's like, what are you doing? Just take the money, man. Just leave.
Danny DeVito's like just having a conversation. This guy's like, I'm gonna fucking shoot you. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
You cost me $5 million, Arnie. What the hell are you doing? Like, where you coming from? Yeah.
And it's when he tells him to close the case. Again, it's like, He closes it. We don't see it until it's pointed out. But like he closes it, and he's just so distracted talking to Arnie about whatever it is that he closes the case and just picks it up and then starts walking with him. And then the guy's like, the guy stood there. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Huh?" And he's like, "Give me the money." He's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, my bad." And then puts it down again. Like and I was just, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to shoot both of you." He's like, "Why?" You got the money, man.
He's like, you see my face, I gotta kill you. And then the way they
you decide who I'm going to shoot. I'm going to stand here. I'm going to stand here for a long time and debate about it instead of just killing you like those first two guys. Where
that's what I'm saying. He's a 60. Nice dad. He's got nice dad vibes.
Yeah, maybe he saw the brotherly connection. And
he was like my son.
You remind me of my boys.
They're twins. One's 6'8" and one's 3'4". But yeah, the way they kill that. Well, I mean,
definitely kill. Don't even hesitate.
Definitely kill. Yeah.
He's definitely dead.
They fucking kill that guy because Arnie's like going back to the 3 stages of grief or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, the three steps of confrontation or something. Yeah, whatever it is.
Some bollocks. And he's like, but wait, you've forgotten about the 3rd rule. Am I right, Danny DeVito? And then he's
wink.
Like, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, and pulls a lever, and then a fucking literal ton of chains from the ceiling like collapse onto his head and just encase his entire body. There's so much.
He gets hit with it's like a pulley kind of the big heavy bit on like a pulley system or whatever that just hits him, and all the chains connected to it just keep falling. And
it's meant to be like a comical thing, but it's literally just like constant stream of chains falling from the ceiling, and they're like,
and Danny DeVito's face as well. Like he does a kind of little thing where he's like moving his head almost as if he's trying to follow the chains. Like he makes it funnier because he's there just like, wow, this is really taking a while kind of thing. You can just see it on his face.
Yeah,
and he's just under a mountain of chains. Because at first I was like, God damn, like I wonder how heavy these chains are. Like maybe he'll be okay. And then when it finishes and you see like a wide of the literal mountain,
it's
you're
like a haystack.
No way he's fine.
And then it just cuts to them like lauded in the paper, like because they returned the bomb. Whatever it was.
Yeah, what's his name? Arnie insists that they return the money. He's like, no, we have to hand it in. And again, very siblingy because he says that, and Danny DeVito's like, no, why, no, why? And they like go off screen, kind of fade out, like, why? No, we don't have to. Why? What are you doing?
But yeah, they like get reward money instead for handing back the
like a nuclear
bomb or whatever the fuck it was, the jet thing. I can't remember what I was saying now.
Well, that's pretty much it. Like they kind of get reward for handing in all the stuff. They're then in the papers. So then, of course, the mum sees the two of them, and it says like twins hand in thing and get money, get paid. And she's like, oh, they really were twins. Maybe they really are my sons.
Yeah.
And
I wonder I wonder if in that paper article there's like, these heroes, they gave the stolen jet engine back. Also, they murdered a man. Like he's
a man was found dead at the scene.
Yeah,
but
we can't get him out. There's so many chains; it's so heavy.
We can't confirm it was them.
Yeah,
and they're definitely not real estate developer people or whatever the fuck she thought they were. So don't even worry about that if you were concerned about that. And she's like, and you kind of have like a quick thing of then what happens. I mean, those two guys, they seem to have either set up their own kind of businessy thing, or they're kind of doing well for themselves.
Yeah.
She ends up. You see the mum go to the scientist guy and be like, "What the hell? You told me these kids were dead." And he's like, and she fucking decks him. She just punches him one right in the face, and I was like, "Yeah, get him!
Yeah, fucking get him!
Get him!" And what was really, again, because the characters are well written, like they stay true to the characters and they don't just like suddenly change like wildly. They do have a couple of swing changes which kind of still stay believable. But with DeVito's character, when they're talking about the money and Arnie's like, oh, you're just annoyed because I made you hand in all that money, and then Danny DeVito's like, yeah, $4 million. How crazy is that? And I was like, yeah, you sly dog. He bloody kept that million. Yeah. And I just love like those little kind of, because they don't then, that's all they say about it. They don't then have a thing later on like, in case you missed it, here's him sitting with $1 million check and kissing this money. It's just, that's it. And you're like, he's a bloody keeping that million for himself. And
then the last thing is the mum comes and is like, I'm your mum. Like, but it's
like, sorry about that
moment's so nice.
Yeah,
it's really because it's long played out. She's like, they didn't tell
it's just
me.
so
and
wholesome.
They're just sort of like staring at her like, oh my god.
Danny goes, oh.
God fucking damn it.
Yeah, and you see, I mean, Danny DeVito makes amends with his girlfriend because she was really pissed with the fact that he just left them all in New Mexico or wherever in the dust. I mean, they just got back somehow. So yeah, and then you have that kind of end happily ever after. They're both walking along, and they both have twins of their own.
Yeah,
so,
and I wonder how that's gonna play into the triplets or whatever.
Yeah, do we know? Is it like a direct sequel, or is it kind of like a conceptual sequel kind of thing?
No, it's a direct spiritual sequel. But yeah, there's not a whole great deal about it apart from that everyone's back and then Eddie Murphy's there as well. And I think the talk is that they're triplets and Eddie Murphy's the third brother. And
he's the third. So then she just had a third kid that she didn't know about.
I guess. Well. I'm really excited to see where they go.
To be fair, the wackier the better, kind of. Like to a degree, I think would be quite funny. I meant to talk about this on top as well, but so when I was watching this on Prime, it came up with a couple of recommended. Let me grab my phone. It came up with a couple of recommended films. It was like, if you like this, then watch these. I didn't know that there was another film with people. I mean, people probably know this film, but there was another film with Arnie and Danny, kind of as two of the lead roles, called Junior, and it's where, like, from what it looks like, it's where Arnie takes some sort of drugs that then make him become pregnant, or like make him able to become pregnant.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it says Alex and Larry working on a drug that will help women conceive a baby. Things take a turn when their funds are withdrawn to keep their experiment running. Alex agrees to become the subject.
Oh and my then god!
This is in '94, so we'll definitely have to have a look at that one.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then the other one that was recommended was a Stallone film. So we can do a Stallone film. And I don't know anything about it. All I know is that it's called Stop or My Mum Will Shoot. And it's just him and his mum on the front with guns. Oh, it's on Netflix, so we'll have to. We can do that one.
We'll definitely do that.
11% Rotten Tomatoes. That's going to be great. So I'd say that is the film. I think we don't really need to ask the question, but for the sake of structure, to get people to know
continuity,
how the hell continuity and whatever, in case anybody. This is the first episode anyone's listening to. Would you say this is a bad film good or bad film not good?
Bad film great.
Bad film goddamn spectacular.
Yeah, this film is actually so good. And not like ironically. It's bloody good.
Yeah. I know, it's so wholesome. Like, it just makes you feel like, there's some kind of...
There's dumb stuff,
there's some dumb stuff, obviously. There's some kind of 80s shortcomings where you're a bit like, it's a bit of his time. But, generally... some of that is charming, but, some of it not so much.
But, what was it, 6.1 and 50% or whatever? And I suppose that's kind of high for what we usually do. We usually do a lot lower than that, but still, that's harsh. Really harsh.
Yeah, I think it's just solid.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be groundbreaking or whatever, but like the performances are great, and I think it's solid for sure. So do we want to look at reviews?
Yeah, let's look at some reviews. So,
as usual, I am taking from Rotten Tomatoes, and I believe Aidan is taking from IMDb.
IMDb, baby. Do you want to do yours first?
Baby. We're going to just try and get in as many impressions of these guys as we can during this episode, just while we've got the chance,
Well, we got the chance. Until we do, what was it? Junior.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so let me find... So I had one... Oh, mine are kind of negative, I guess. I thought I got like a positive one and a negative one. But it's kind of funnier, the negative ones, I guess. There's one that from Tyler S. Gave it 2 stars, and he just says, no. ... Fun idea, memorable scenes, solid actors, but no. Like, what's the no for? I don't understand. Yeah. Like, fun idea, great. Memorable scenes, oh, brilliant. Solid actors, okay. Definitely. But no, I don't like the film. No, just it's
everything
rubbish.
about this film's good, but it's bad.
But the film is bad, yeah. And then I've got one from Ted W. All these boring names. I like the ones that are like XX_ super cool film review guy with like letters and numbers and all sorts and whatever, something stupid. But Ted W. says, oh, he gave it 1.5 stars. So that's this is out of 5, by the way, on Rotten Tomatoes. And again, it's like, terrible, horrible, cringe, pretty boring movie starring Arnold and Danny DeVito. It's your average cringe fest of an 80s movie that you'll forget about. For some reason, tons of people like this movie. I don't get it. The poster is cool, but man, the movie is bad. The poster is just Arnold and Danny like standing there, like Arnold and then Danny like at an angle because he's kind of leaning on him or whatever. That's it. That's what he liked that poster apparently. I can see it made tons of money because everyone's talking about it, but man, I was hyped for this, and boy was I wrong about this movie. Cringe waste of time. God damn.
Why?
I don't. Yeah, okay. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I mean, hey, but that one can go in the bin.
All right, you got? Mine is 3 out of 10. They're all negative, but this one really is...
I think it's such a good film. We can just we don't need to do positive reviews because
we've done the positive reviews.
We've hunted for the negative ones. That's why we're highlighting them.
This is from Jesse Gehrig in 2015, so not that long ago. But let's get through this. It says the title is "Booze is food if you want to eat poison as food." And you can cause this is America.
This is already amazing. This is way better than what I've... Why is it so incoherent? I don't understand when people do reviews of things. Like, if they're shitting on a film and they're just like, "Booze America thing is stupid, blah, blah." You're like, what? What are you saying? What are you talking about?
This is like, I mean... maybe we'll find out what they mean.
Yeah.
Not likely. No. It says, "Twins is weird. Why are you weird, twins? Remember in the 80s how being a womanizer was cool? Like manipulating people and then throwing them away was a socially acceptable trait? Definitely, especially in 80s films. On board with you there. Man, 1988 must have been one hell of a year, or... in retrospect, maybe not. Kelly Prestone's hair looks like... By the way, I know it's Kelly Preston. Don't write.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah.
Kelly Preston's hair looks like it hurts her. Is her stringy, over-teased hair like mad at her? Hair is supposed to be friendly. Yes. Yes. Twins is a vehicle...
Some very friendly hair you've got there.
Yeah. Yes, Twins is a vehicle to market Arnold Schwarzenegger as able to appear in comedies, and it paid out. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Good for saying. Jingle All the Way. Kindergarten Cop? Junior?
Oh, so this is he's listing films. I'm assuming that he's been in now.
I guess, but I can't. There's a comma between. I think it's Kindergarten Cop, but there's a comma between it, so it says Kindergarten Cop.
I mean,
Junior.
I think they've already established themselves as not being very coherent.
It's only creepy if you think about it as psychology. Personally, I don't know what they're talking about there. Personally, I like my movies to be hollow and self-indulgent. That way, it doesn't get in the way of drinking.
What is this person on about? I think this person has had too much to drink.
They might be drunk. Yeah.
Just like ranting about. They're just jealous of the sheer primal presence of Arnie and Danny.
Good damn. But look, we talked about some dumb shit about the film, but do you want to talk about some real life dumb shit?
Yes. I kind of
do you want to do this
level it out a little bit? Yeah, I can take this one. Yeah, rather than just like a personal story this time, my brother and I were talking about this article. I don't remember where it came from, why we started talking about it today, but it's about Now, I mean, Aidan and I, we're in our mid-20s, and when we were back in school, there was the Frosties advert, which had that kid who was like, "It's gonna taste great," or whatever, doing that song. And I don't know why, but the rumor went around that like a million rumors went around about this kid. And the one I remember when I was in school was that it was like a sad thing that he like took his own life because he was bullied about it and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So there's an article by Vice saying, "We talked to the Frosties advert kid everyone thought was dead." And like there's all of these rumors about how like he put pencils in his nostrils and like
I remember
slammed his
rumor.
face into a desk.
Yeah.
I never heard that one. I
really?
had no idea.
Did you not?
I had no idea that was and there was like all this stuff. But they're talking about like what he's done, and it says he didn't die, and after emerging intact from the aftermath of the commercial and pursuing a career as a gymnast, he's now an actor, finding relative fame in his home country. And then in a remarkable twist of fate, he now runs his own anti-bullying workshops.
Wow.
Where he's just like doing all this crazy stuff. But it's just
and everyone thinks he's dead.
Yeah, and everyone just thinks he's dead. It's so dumb. Like, I mean, all the stuff he was talking about, I'm just kind of like trying to skim through the article. And just the way he's kind of talking about how he was affected by it and stuff. And he was like saying, his parents, his words as well, where he's saying, I do vividly remember my parents being affected by it. I mean, what would you do as a parent if your child's name was being thrown around on the internet like a rag doll under a truck by people who've never met them? He's like really kind of brutal about it. And he says there's a great video on YouTube of me getting hit by a train twice, and then just for safety, I'm then blown up with a bomb. I had no idea it was this deep.
That's gone way beyond that.
All I remember is perpetuating that story where I'd turn to somebody and be like, "Oh yeah, did you hear? Like that guy killed himself because he was
bullied
because he was so bullied and everybody kept taking the mick out of him and stuff for it." But no, like not even talk. He's our age as well. He's literally like I think he's 24
really?
now. Yeah.
Oh my god, damn,
which is crazy.
That's insane.
But it was just such a funny, weird like.
That's such a like.
I don't know why we
Mandela effect thing, right?
Yeah,
but just everyone knows that guy killed himself. But no, he didn't.
And he's out there like running anti-bullying things and stuff.
Yeah.
That side of things itself isn't obviously dumb, but like just the stories around it are so weird and funny. Yeah. And he's worked with. It says like he's worked with like John Cleese and Orlando Bloom and
really
like it just in films like I don't know, Zulu. I don't really know what that is, and the Spud trilogy working with John Cleese. So he's like done a whole bunch of things. Yeah, I don't know. He's done a whole bunch of things. It's so
maybe
funny.
We should look this guy up, see if he's got any films we should do. But yeah, that's insane.
This is brilliant. So, power to him. What was his name?
This guy.
Sven. His name is Sven. There we go.
Fuck is it?
Frosty's kid. I mean, that's what I feel bad. It's such a... Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Brilliant. Well, it's good to know that he's alive and well. Anyway.
Yeah, that's good news rather than the other thing. But yeah, that's about all we've got, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the show.
Next week we're gonna do classic, the Super Mirror Bros. It's a different one.
Super Miriam, like the name of the
Super
woman.
Miriam Bros. Yeah.
That's the painted woman, the mum.
We're doing twins again.
Yeah, we're doing. That's an alternate title for this film. Yeah, Super Miriam Bros.
Oh, god damn, we missed a trick.
This is the podcast where we review twins each week. And we just post the same podcast episode every week. It's like those ones that do the same picture of Chris Pratt every day.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the same podcast every week.
Podcast about twins every week.
And then at the end of the podcast every week, we make the same joke about the fact that we're going to do the podcast together this week.
Good. But yeah, if you want to keep, like I said, I'm going to post that picture of Arnie's face. So if you want to keep an eye out for things we're keeping up to date with, our next episodes and stuff, you can follow us on Instagram or Twitter at badfilmgood, or one word, lowercase. We'll make some funny
if you capitalize anything, you will not find us.
Yes. It will not come up.
Yeah.
We're too obscure.
Good Film Bad, our enemy podcast.
Yeah.
We might do that. We should do that. We should set up a Good Film Bad podcast.
Good Film Bad, yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll be our own, to become our own rivals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those bastards at Good Film Bad.
At Good Film Bad, and then you go there and it's just us. We talk about that. We might do that. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
All the people listening to this.
But yeah, if you want to support the show, a really good thing to do would be to tell a friend. Even if you hated it, just pretend like you didn't. And
even if you hate your friend.
Even if you hate your friend, especially if you hate your friend.
Especially if you hate them.
Listen. Or wherever you're listening to this, give us a 5-star review. It really does help get more listeners that you've never heard of before.
Yeah. And maybe just give us a 5-star review, and then in the description of the review, just take like a funny review from the film that we reviewed, and just put that there instead.
Yeah.
So take one of the things where it's like, oh, great acting, great moments, memorable things, but no good.
Or you can just put 5 stars and then go, oh,
oh, yeah, exactly. That's all we need, Just helps us out.
Yeah. But just to pick up your day, before we go, we decided to go on Inspirobot and get you an inspirational quote with a nice picture.
Mine's not very inspirational.
No, not very.
It's a bit of a gamble with this. I had to search for a while to get one because it's all randomly generated, and it kind of themes well with the raunchy scenes from Twins, because you've got two bare-chested people kind of pressed up against each other. Looks very intimate. Looks very, very loving, and just centered. I think they're not actually. I think they actually are animated. They're like 3D models. I just realized. Then I don't think they're actually people.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Oh,
and
wow.
in the center, it just says, "Be embarrassed about your chest."
You better be.
You better goddamn be embarrassed. You'll never be as great as Arnie's chest in that one scene where he has to change his shirt. And then Danny DeVito's like, "What is that? They're just lumps."
Is that Mount Rushmore or something? Or whatever he says. Mine is a guy. He kind of looks sad. He's sat on like a brick wall. He's on the phone. It looks like he's getting dumped or something.
Oh man, poor guy.
But, yeah, I know, right? And this isn't going to go any better for him, because the text says, "Don't do your best. Wear adult diapers, and the government will be proud."
Some weird like government propaganda.
Wear adult diapers. We've got too many.
Yeah, we're running out of boxes and pants. Yeah. Just wear adult diapers. The toilet. No, it's people during the pandemic taking all the toilet roll.
Yeah.
We're just now supplying with adult diapers.
It's the your country needs you with the guy.
Yeah,
but it's
but he's holding an adult diaper.
Oh, good. All right, that's a good note to end on.
Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed the show.
Yeah,
and
thanks for listening.
we'll be doing these weekly, so we will see you next week. Bye. Oh. Oh.
Bye. But yeah, so this week we looked at Twins.
Yeah. So let me hang on. Let me just.
Shall we do that again?
Yeah, we'll do it again.